some noise.
This is one of the best environments we've ever had. This is fantastic.
It's going to be awesome, baby, with a capital A.
And ACC basketball is back here in Littlejohn Coliseum. Tonight, game 2 of the season. The Clemson Tigers trying for a second straight win, taking on their longtime foes, the Wofford Terriers. A first meeting since December of 2015 for these upstate South Carolina schools. Hi, friends, and welcome in. With Terrence Oglesby, Pete Ganady with you. The Tigers had to come back from 8 down against Presbyterian Tuesday night and getting a win. Big story in that game, they limited the three-point shooting for the Blue Hose. That'll be a huge storyline tonight because Wofford shoots lights out.
It's going to be the most difficult challenge for Clemson. They held Presbyterian to 3 of 24 shooting from distance. Wofford presents a different challenge. They have a lot of guys that can knock down shots. Not 4, not 5. Probably have 6 guys north of 35% this season. They're really going to have to guard the 3 coming in.
8 different Terriers hit threes in their opening win against Bob Jones Tuesday night. One of them was 5 for 5, Ryan Larson. He's a guy who connects back to their 30-win season of a few years ago.
And he's going to need to be good. With Storm Murphy leaving to Virginia Tech, it's now Ryan Larson's team, and he might lead the country in floor burns by the time this year is over. He's tough as nails guard, but he's got his work cut out for him tonight.
The Tigers rallied from 8 down in the second half against Presbyterian Tuesday. Alamir Dawes leading the way, ending up with 21 points, just 1 off of his career high.
And he was fantastic, and it's going to be a guards game today, and that's where he flourishes. He's excellent at getting downhill and getting to the rim, and he's a superb three-point shooter as well. Should shoot close to 40% this year, but it's going to be on him defensively to turn the tide for the Tigers to get their second win.
The Clemson Tigers trying to get out to a 2-0 start. P.J. Hall facing the team from his hometown and very close to the Wofford program. His dad, Jerome, was a Wofford Terrier basketball player back in the late 80s, early 90s, so that's a Clemson connection.
Back when they were still Division II, Wofford's obviously made some big-time advancements since then.
Yeah.
They've got an excellent team. I'm excited. Also a person to look at, number 4, Isaiah Bigelow. Didn't play last year, but that is a big-time athlete and a big-time shooter as well.
So here we go. Our officiating crew, a good one. Tony Green, Doug Shows, and Chuck Jones are underway here in Littlejohn Coliseum. Last time these teams met, December of 2015. That was in the Well in downtown Greenville. All-time Tigers lead the series 52-15. Nick Honor hung up by the very lengthy guard, Isaiah Bigelow. Inside Hall. Lost the handle, got it back. He'll head to the line.
And that's tough because Wofford's going to try to trap P.J. Hall whenever he gets the ball in the post. Ryan Larson going for the steal. Just wasn't able to get the ball. As you see, the inbounds almost able to connect the three-point play, and P.J. Hall will shoot 2 shots.
Hall didn't get into the scoring column till a pretty good ways into the contest against Presbyterian Tuesday night. Finished with 6 points and 8 rebounds. A season ago, 75% at the line.
And this Clemson team is going to go how P.J. goes this year. Amir Sims departing opens the door for P.J. to have a major contribution this year. They're going to run a lot of offense for him, Pete, and he's going to have to make good decisions. 4 turnovers in the first game. He's going to have to handle the ball better tonight.
Quick 2-0 lead. Terriers, they had that amazing season back in 2018 and 19 when they had a 30-win campaign, made the round of 32 in the NCAA tourney. Told you about Larson being a connection to that. The man with the ball, Messiah Jones, was redshirting that year, as was another guy on the court, Isaiah Bigelow. So a proud program. 2 teams that have played in each of the NCAA tournaments that have been contested since 2018.
Excellent contest by David Collins and Alamir Dawes. He's going to have to play under control as he pitches back out. But P.J. Hall showing some handles, struggles to gain a grip.
Jones knocking it away. B.J. Mack, second year with the Terriers. One of 2 South Florida transfers who will play in this game tonight, along with Clemson's David Collins at the top of your screen.
They were teammates 2 seasons ago, and as you saw, the past 2 offensive possessions for Wofford resulted in 2 threes. They're going to let them fly, and they're not going to stop just because they miss a few.
It was interesting. Brad Brownell, before the game, had an interesting thought on that. We'll talk about that more in a moment. Tigers shot clock under 10. Larson defending the bigger Collins. Little step through. Terriers bench wanted a travel call, I believe, or maybe a wraparound.
I think they wanted a wraparound, but that's something that David Collins is going to have to do this year, create towards the end of the shot clock. He's big and physical enough that he's going to have an advantage over about 80% of the players he plays this year.
Max Klesmit, sophomore, can't get it to go. And here comes Clemson. Dawes ends up turning it over. He almost carried the ball. Jay McCauley succeeding Mike Young at the helm of the Terriers a few years ago, now in year number 3. 35 wins at the helm. He had a ball club that in his first season made it all the way to the Southern Conference Tournament Championship. They lost to a really good ETSU team that maybe would have made a Sweet 16 run had there been a tournament in March of 2020. But Jay McCauley, former Georgia player, interesting backstory on him, Tio, is that he was in the Georgia Dome waiting in the tunnel 2008 on the quarterfinal Thursday at the SEC tourney when that tornado happened, when Alabama and Mississippi State were playing, and Georgia was supposed to play next. But what a crazy night that was, waiting in the tunnel to warm up for the evening action.
Yeah, he said he was pretty fortunate. He turned that into a couple of jobs, and obviously he does a great job. A really good basketball mind that lets his teams play. And Wofford's going to have to attack the basket a little bit more on the offensive end. Excellent move by Max Klesmit, who's on pace to have a really good year.
First bucket of the game for Klesmit, who, like other Terriers, had a real good start with a career-high 23 against Bob Jones. Brad Brownell on the verge of career win number 370 as a head coach. Now year number 12 at Clemson, the winningest in Clemson history with 202 victories at the helm of the Tigers since the 2010-11 season.
And he's known throughout the college basketball world as one of the better X's and O's coaches on. Man, how about P.J. Hall? I can't help but interrupt myself on that one. He sets up, sets his feet, and knocks it in. Good offensive set and good ball movement by Clemson. But Brad Brownell, known year by year as one of the best defensive coaches in the country, just does an excellent job. And another example of defensive presence. David Collins can do that.
Collins doing what he does. When he was at South Florida last season, he had 29 steals. You saw his defense the other night as part of that second-half comeback. Those are the keys to the game. First off for Wofford.
Well, you're seeing it right now. They're going to have to take care of the ball. Clemson can really get up underneath you, especially with their smaller guards, Alamir Dawes and Nick Honor. Those point guards for Wofford are going to have to be safe with the basketball in order for them to have success. They need to get shots up on every possession. And there's another turnover. They need to calm down. This is their first road game of the year.
Tigers can do that to you. Another turnover by the Terriers. Here's how Collins got his.
And David Collins, he's so physically strong and gifted. And boy, if he gets up underneath you and he holds you down, there's not a whole lot you can do. Excellent defensive possession.
Tyson behind the feed from Hall. Nice job by Chase Hunter. Keeps the possession alive. Collins thought about driving, instead gets it out to Honor. Hunter loads up. And missing badly.
You're kind of waiting for Chase Hunter to explode on the scene. He was a top 100 recruit coming out of high school out of Atlanta, Westlake High School out of Atlanta. Was one of these guys that a lot of people are looking forward to. Hasn't been able to stay healthy so far.
Larson driving inside, and Tyson got a hand on it. One of the things Hunter Tyson can do, he can defend a guard and use his size at the same time. Another try for the Tigers senior. Halfway down, it comes out.
A little bit quick probably for Coach Brownell's liking, but at the same time, Clemson's rolling right now 9-2, looking really good and strong defensively coming out.
And a Tiger team that's just 1 of 4 beyond the arc, and they've had some good looks. Could be a lot worse. Klesmit pulls up. Boy, what a good-looking player he is. Another guy they got from Wisconsin. Storm Murphy was a fine point guard for them the past 4 years. He was from the Dairy State, and here they've got another guy who can light it up for them.
They do an excellent job recruiting the Midwest. Don't really mess around in South Carolina too much because he said he's tired of competing with football for kids. And these Midwestern kids love hoop, and a great pass by David Collins. And PJ, he's got great hands in there, Pete. As long as he's able to gather and have his feet still, he's going to finish a lot of those. Or
Hall
most of them, rather.
Has exceeded his point total from the other night. He already has 7, 11-4 starts for the Clemson team. Much different opening half so far than what we saw Tuesday night against Presbyterian.
I think it has a lot to do with the respect that Clemson has for Wofford coming into this game. Wofford very well could win the Southern Conference Championship this year.
No for Mack off the window. Collins coming away with it. Tigers pushing the tempo. Klesmit will be called for the bump. And we've got a timeout on the court. Tigers off to a good start, up by 7.
We're back in Clemson, and you're going to see a stagger set by the Tigers. P.J. Hall doing an excellent job setting the first screen. Nick Honor is going to curl, and he took his defender with him. P.J. doing a nice job attacking the catch, extending, getting his feet set, and knocking it through. My man's the emotional leader, pointing to his mama, pointing to his girlfriend. I don't know what's going on, but he has been really good so far. And this should be his season. Coach Brownell said on several occasions, for us to be good, P.J. Hall has to be really good. And tonight, so far, he has been really good.
Player they need to emerge. Klesmit picked up his first, Wofford's second foul. Tigers a chance to build on this advantage. They were with us the other night. They trailed by 8 at the half. They've come out with the same kind of energy here in half number 1 against Wofford as they showed against Presbyterian in half number 2. And Jones able to force the turnover as Collins throws it away.
And the energy that Clemson's playing with on offense so far this game is a whole lot different than how they opened against Presbyterian. The cuts are crisp, the passes get there fast, and that forces the defense to rotate a lot quicker, thus opening up some driving lanes.
Terriers 0 for 3 from beyond the arc so far. Still early for the Wofford team that has made that their M.O. One of their guys who stepped up for him last year, Austin Patterson, into the game. You just saw him with the ball, number 15. Here's a feed for Bigelow. A find underneath. Godwin runs into traffic. And a good recovery by Sam Godwin, the sophomore out of Moore, Oklahoma. Initially, looked like Ben Middlebrooks got a hand on his drive.
Southmore High School native comes out and gives his team some energy. Coach said he had to wear knee pads because he doesn't really know how to fall right. Kind of that guy that's just always on the floor. But a nice offensive rebound and putback to get on the scoring calling.
Kind of a big version of Ryan Larson, their point guard.
That's exactly right. Wofford's filled to the brim with a bunch of scrappy guards. Tough step back for Alamir Dawes, and he knocks down the 3.
Alamir Dawes getting into the act. First bucket of the night, his first attempt. And the Tigers grow the lead out to 8.
Difference this year, Tigers have 2 guys, Alamir Dawes and David Collins, that can create at the end of the shot clock, even in the half court. You got to like the momentum that Clemson's playing with so far in the half. Pressure really bothering Wofford so far. The only guy who's really been able to get anything going is Klesmit, and as he almost turns it over.
Here's Bigelow. And the foul will be called against Clemson. Alamir Dawes, just give him a little bit of a crack and he'll usually make something happen.
Check out this step back right here. This is high level. Brings it back, thinks he's going to create a switch. A little step back. Klesmit doesn't have anything for that. Knocks in the 3.
First foul of the Tigers. It goes against Hunter Tyson. Isaiah Bigelow in November of 2020, he suddenly suffered a knee injury. They were expecting big things out of him, and for the Southern Conference, he is such a mismatch out on the wing at 6'7".
Well, he's switchable, and it doesn't matter where he plays. He can guard 1 through 4, especially in the Southern Conference, and probably tonight too, Pete. He is a high-level athlete. Caught a couple of alley-oops off the baseline against Bob Jones in their first game. If he can shoot 40% and stretch the floor at 6'7", I mean, that's the ultimate luxury at the college level.
He had 9 points and 10 rebounds in their win the other night against Bob Jones.
Luke Turner, number 0, a freshman from California, the same high school as Warriors guard Klay Thompson. I like this kid. Can really shoot the ball, extend the defense. He's got good size at 6'7". He's got the best haircut on the floor.
We've got 2 Californians on the court right now with Turner and Patterson. Naz Bohannon just into the game. Traffic in front of the rim, unable to finish.
And that's a beginning of the year possession where guys just kind of run into each other. Bad spacing on that possession by Clemson.
From the wing, Patterson got off a plane about 2 days before their game against Coastal Carolina. Hit some big threes in the victory for the Terriers last year, and he's been an effective weapon. And that's a big bucket for Wofford.
It's a huge bucket. And the thing is, when you're playing Wofford, a 10-point lead's really about a 5-point lead because they can get hot in a hurry and just flip a game on its head. And they're doing a great job on help side defense this game early.
Jones the denial once again. 6'6", but he plays much bigger. Turner, left wing, Bigelow. Almost had that one. That was a good look. And we've got a
little
flop warning on Bigelow.
And he might have gotten fouled up top, but if you get hit, you hit, but Clemson's up 4 heading into the break. We'll be back in a minute with the rest of the action.
Wofford 1 for 5 beyond the arc so far. Isaiah Bigelow had a real nice look off the swing pass just moments ago. He is unable to knock it down. You'll see, though, he hits the deck. And then a flop warning was administered by the official at the bottom of the screen, our crew tonight, Tony Green, Doug Shouse, Chuck Jones. We show you the flop rule. Well, it's a real interesting talking point in the NCAA, isn't it?
Yeah, and it makes the game better. And I'll be honest with you, Pete, it would have been bad for me. I wouldn't have ever been able to get to the free throw line because I'm not saying I flopped, but, I mean, I got some questionable calls on occasion. But I think it makes for an aesthetically pleasing game, a more aesthetically pleasing game when you don't stop play because somebody falls on the ground. I think NBA has gone to it, and it's made for a much better NBA product, and the NCAA has put a focus on that as well.
This being game 2 of the year, be really interesting to see if a play like that is called in game 6 or 10, or if by game 15 we've even forgotten that they're putting it in.
Well, that's typically what happens. Well, by the time it gets to conference play, it gets just as rough and physical as it always has been. But I hope this rule actually stays. What an awesome inbounds play from Clemson. P.J. Hall not able to knock it in, but man, what a great X's and O write-up.
His first miss of the night. Hall, though, 17 points, part of this Clemson lead that's been as big as 8. Mack working inside against Hall. Hook won't go. Bigelow, they're going to get him coming over the top of Honor.
And that's what Nick Honor's going to have to do when you're matched up on Bigelow. And he got matched up in transition right there. He has to do the little things. He needs to get inside of his knees. You will see Nick Honor right here. Look, gets low, locks in. Might have gotten away with a little bit of a hold, but he gets the call. Excellent effort by the Fordham transfer in his second year here at Clemson.
14 foul on Wofford. It's the first on Isaiah Bigelow.
Clemson's pace offensively tonight is night and day different from that of the game against the Blue Hose as Nick Honor gets in there. Pitches back out. P.J. Hall is feeling himself.
Wow.
Another 3 on the left wing for the 6'10 man from right down the road at Dorman High School.
That time off balance. 2 of 2 beyond the arc. The lead grows back out to 7.
And he is fired up. Like we said earlier, Pete, his dad played at Wofford, so he's got a little bit to prove tonight. He's not going to have to go home and listen to Dad say, well, you couldn't beat Wofford. He's bringing all he can to help the team out.
Hold to be called against Alamir Dawes. And again, this was not necessarily a clean look for the big fella on that 3 just moments ago.
A good penetration by Nick Honor. P.J. Hall doing a nice job of relocating down towards the quarter. Gives some high fives on his way back on defense and talking a little trash on his way too.
Benefit of the courtside seat. That truly brings you right up to the action.
That's exactly right.
Turner working inside on Bohannon. See the shot clock under 10. Larson. See if he realizes he's got 5 in the shot clock. He just did. Mack to force it from long range. And
it hit a little bit of the rim.
I guess
it hit a little bit of the rim, and they let it continue. But great defensive possession. P.J. Hall for 3
Hall,
in a row. Little short.
Just 2 of 3 on the night. And that's a rare miss for him from long range. He's been really good. He made his first basket in the opening game against Presbyterian. Taken away by Honor. Foul is called.
The ball pressure by the Tigers. Wofford's got to handle it better. They're playing 2-point guards with Klesmet and Larson. Look at Nick Honor. This is what he does best. He gets up underneath you, reaches, gets the steal. Actually a good foul by Wofford in order to stop the break.
Although it is the second on Klesmet, he's one of those that'll be their leading scorer this year, or among their top 3, so he'll head to the bench. You would suppose for the duration of this first half, 10-12 to go here in Littlejohn. Second contest of the season. First of 3 straight, 3 straight at home to start out. The second in line there with Brian coming in on Monday night. Nice drive off the feed. Honor to Hall. And PJ is having himself a first half to remember.
Excellent slip, and he's able to finish him off the wrong foot. Nice finger roll and a great pass on the slip action.
12 points for the sophomore out of Spartanburg. Tigers' biggest lead of 9. Patterson thought about it. Mack, I don't think he realized he had shaken Hall. And that was halfway down and comes out. Boy, Terrier's having a hard time buying him inside.
And Naz Bohannon got a little bit lucky because he was late on help side and he wasn't able to knock it in. B.J. Mack. Those are bunnies that you need to hit on the road if you're going to compete against an ACC conference team.
Honor to set things up. Yeah, really, as you made a good point earlier, you just noticed a much different energy in the opening half.
Yeah, Clemson's energy has just been fantastic. The ball movement off the ball, the continue. That's a foul, and that's a good foul. Bigelow's not happy, but he got a lot of hand. Now, there might have been a part of ball there, But nice move by Alamir Dawes. Little step back, moving off to the side. And you see on the way up, that's all arm. That's all arm.
And that's a second on Bigelow. So 2 of their key players, 2 of their starters now with 2 personals. Bigelow will come out after this first free throw by Alamir Dawes, 74% among the Tiger leaders a season ago. Of course, the early season theme for Clemson, figuring out life after Amir Sims. What we're seeing out of Hall in this opening half is a big part of that equation.
Yeah, exactly right. You want him to be able to shoot this well every game, but they're going to rely on him more for his physicality and his ability to make decisions out on the perimeter as he takes his first break of the game. He has been fantastic, but his passing, the running a lot of elbow action for him, cutting towards the basket. If he's able to pass it like Amir did last year, plus shoot it like this, and Tiger fans, I hate to be negative Nancy, but you might not be able to hold on to him for long.
So a 3 free throw opportunity. Dawes makes them all. Tigers double-figure advantage, out to 12 points up. Now keep in mind, again, Wofford, a 3-point shooting team, so they can change things in a hurry. This time Jones in the drive, knocked away. I think Honor got a hand on it. Here comes Collins. Hesitation, Larson taking it away. And I don't think he realized the situation. He heads up court, but it's Safford who gets fouled by his fellow number 13, Collins.
Well, Collins trying to be aggressive offensively, but probably needs to pull that ball back out. But Nick Honor, man, his help side defense, and he's just so pesky whenever bigs get it around the rim. He does an excellent job. Looks like he's lost some weight, too. If he could get any quicker, golly, I mean, it's tough. And he plays like this all game. Tiger fans love his tenacity on the ball, and he's been really effective here early. As we have another off-the-ball foul on Alamir Dawes. He's getting a little bit handsy, and that's 2 on the junior from Newark. And he's just he's trying. He's so worried about Wofford hitting threes that he's grabbing a hold, and you can't do that, especially when you're going to be trailing on the outside shoulder all game.
Let's take a look at the infraction.
So he tries to level up, and he just gets his hands a little bit too much. Oh, I don't know if there was a whole lot there, Pete. It might have been clean. He might have got a bad call there.
Terrier team Brad Brownell said they would do some things, maybe sacrifice 2s for 3s. Going for the offensive rebound, Messiah Jones. He'll be called from coming over the back off the miss out front by Patterson. But so far, the Terriers just haven't been good from long range. Just 14% in the game, so it's kind of made things work out well for Clemson defensively. You see the foul inside.
That's a good job by the freshman Ian Schifflin. He's not quite as strong as Messiah Jones, but good job getting low and forcing the foul call. Messiah Jones, probably preseason all-conference player for the SoCon, big physical, shot 65% from the field last season, mostly around the basket, but they're going to need him because he's such a physical presence around the rim.
Schifflin getting the roll, the freshman from Loganville, Georgia, on a really good high school basketball program at Grayson, and kind of player they think can do some good things for him both inside and outside. The 3 big men, Hall, Schifflin, and the other freshman, Ben Middlebrooks, are all guys who are big but can step out.
Yeah, that's a good thing. And Ian Schifflin has been a pleasant surprise. If you would have told me in July that Ian Schifflin was going to sometimes be your first player off the bench, I would have called you a liar. But, man, his skill level, the coaches love the fact that he can shoot it from distance. Nice move by Larson using the ball screen. But they love Schifflin's ability and his skill level out on the perimeter. And he plays so physical.
Larson's first bucket of the night, and that was a needed basket for the Terrier team. Alex Hemingway on the floor for Clemson.
You see you went to the second unit a little bit. That ball's not moving quite as crisp as it was with the first unit.
Under 10 on the shot clock. Honor hitting the deck was Larson, in some pain too, and that's just how hard he plays, and I promise you there was no flop there. No, Ryan Larson, a guy who's going to need to score for the Wofford team if they're going to hang around tonight.
Oh, excellent move. Bad hedge coming off the ball screen. Schifflin needs to get up there, but Larson can make you pay. Mid-range jump shot is good. Excellent offensive set by Clemson. P.J. Hall gets the pass, but you're going to see down in the corner, Ryan Larson is late on help side. That ball goes away from you. You need to follow the ball and get right in front of it. Excellent slip by P.J. You got to take that charge, baby. Couple plays later, my man gets what he's supposed to do, gets in proper position. Might have a concussion, but he's still out here playing. He's tough as nails, and he's going to keep going.
He did miss some time in the past in his career. It was such an issue. Just a scrappy player from the state of Minnesota, or another one of their greats all time, Noah Dahlman. They recruited him a decade and a half ago, and he took them to their first couple of SoCon titles. Here's Clemson back on the floor with 2 fouls because they need that right there, his scoring.
I love that set coming out of a timeout by Coach McCauley. A little curl set in order to get Godwin open. And what happens is the help side's not able to get there. Nice handoff for a bucket. Klesma is just so talented whenever he's able to get a little bit of space.
Pull up, Hunter Tyson. Boy, with Mack at 6'8", coming right after him.
If there's a more improved player in the conference from his freshman year to his senior year, I'd like to see him, because he has been dramatically better, improved in every statistical category. Every season he's been in a Tiger uniform.
Mack might have gotten bumped a little bit. The Terrier big man near the top of your screen will get a feed. Shefflin defends. 10 on the shot clock. Freshman against the South Florida transfer. Strong move, gentle touch, and Wofford 4 straight points, trying to get themselves back into this game.
And that's an upperclassman going against a freshman. That's just a few more years in the weight room. Shefflin will get there, but he's going to have to be a lot tougher with the on defense. Great skip pass.
And Tyson, the travel would have been a great move. Terriers back-to-back baskets on trips for 4 points after the Tyson jumper in between. Take a look right here on the nice move and the give and go.
Excellent after timeout handoff play for Klesma. You're struggling with pressure. What do? You get your point guard to get rid of it. Try to eliminate as many dribbles as possible. And what happens? He gets the layup.
Chase Hunter, a late addition to the lineup, as Nick Honor will get a breather. Brad Brownell coaching him on some defense, as you saw. Wofford Terriers picked in the middle of the pack in the Southern Conference, a top 10 league in terms of the NCAA net. A conference that's on the verge of eventually getting 2 teams in the NCAA tourney. This could be the year with Chattanooga. A lot of talent coming back for ETSU. Furman still has many who've been on 20-win teams for them. And once again, a turnover by way of the travel for the Tigers senior, Hunter Tyson.
And offensive rebounds, the best time to shoot a 3. Hunter Tyson, he got dunk happy right there. He saw a lane. He was going to try to get in there. When that ball comes off the offensive rebound, the defense is sucked in. You need to go ahead, get your feet ready to shoot, knock in the 3. I played with Trevor Booker, one of the best in the conference at the time. He got an offensive rebound and threw back out. I wasn't hesitating. Hunter Tyson shot 40% last year. He shouldn't be hesitating either.
Hunter defending Larson. Now a lob for Jones. Great catch and finish for the Chicago native out of Simeon High. 6'6", he plays like he's about 6'8" or 6'9", does Messiah Jones.
Yeah, extremely long arms. Really could probably play defensive end or tight end in the NFL. I mean, he is put together quite like that, but played the same high school as Derrick Rose, same high school as Benny Williams. As we go to a timeout, Coach Brownell not happy with that defensive possession.
Wofford 4 field goals in their last 5 trips, so they pulled back within 8. We'll take a timeout here at Littlejohn Coliseum. Brad Brownell and the Tigers. Hunter Tyson, a guy who is emerging. You talked about his improvement.
It's been every season. I mean, 25% as a freshman from the field. I mean, you see the constant improvement from the 3. He has put in the work. He's a tireless worker. They got to kick him out of the gym sometimes. The Monroe Menace. He's just ever improving. He's more comfortable in the offense, and he's gotten Coach Brownell's trust. He leaves him out there all the time. Not to mention he's probably their best out-of-area rebounder. Just an all-out good player who's turned himself into a very good ACC player.
At the bottom of your screen, takes the pass and fires. Rebound, gonna get a foul inside. If it's on Klesma, that's his 3rd. And Bigelow, who also has 2, was nearby. It's on Klesma, and that's big. A 3rd personal foul in the opening half on Max Klesma. Now he definitely will have to return to the bench.
That's tough because Wofford's been playing 2 point guards to deal with the pressure. And Klesmit's just trying to box out. And obviously McCauley's not too happy about it, but Keaton Turner sees his first action, sophomore. Coach McCauley said he was probably pound for pound the strongest player on the team. He's got good quickness. He's a solid athlete. Probably a year away from being a really good SoCon player, but he's got all the tools.
Alex Hemingway, 89% from the line last year. You see why. Really good shooter from the state of Indiana. Tigers lead back out to 10. Some full court pressure. Just into the game, Keaton Turner. Now a sophomore in Jay McCauley's program backs up Larson at the point. They've got about 3 or 4 guys who can run the point for him. Mack, big fellow, likes to step out. Hall defends. Here's Jones backing in on Tyson. Nice drop step.
Messiah, big and strong. He's got great feet. He's all left hand. If you're Hunter, you got to know your scouting report coming in. But even so, Messiah is a really tough cover.
That time, Hemingway didn't know the pass was coming from Collins. Maybe Hall was the intended target. Tigers give it up. Turnovers now 8-4 in favor of Clemson.
Look at the footwork right here. He goes middle, sells it, moves his feet, and just slides right around Hunter Tyson. That's a solid move from the junior from Chicago, Illinois. Just tough as nails. And shoots great percentages. That's why. He's just always around the basket.
Terriers are trailed by as many as 14 in the opening half, trying to get a little bit closer. Mack cutting it on the right wing. Bigelow hit the deck that time. No flop call. Collins will get the foul.
And that's a great pass by B.J. Mack. You're going to see whenever he gets the ball in the post, the help side shifts over, and he's able to put it on a dime. As you see, great one-handed pass off the pickup, and David Collins with the obvious foul.
Now, is that by design? Coming down the floor, is Mack thinking I'm definitely going to find an open man on the wing, or is that just good court vision?
It's good. It's a combination of both, because you know Clemson's going to try to slide over, especially when the ball's on that side of the floor, but he knows he's got a great shooter in Bigelow on the opposite side, and help is sitting in his lap. Guys who are able to pick the ball up with one hand like that and get it to their shooters quick often result in good things, and they're shooting 3 free throws because of it.
His injury in the preseason last year really changed their plans, and they were a 15-win team in the 2021 campaign, but had he been healthy and at 100%, he just may have made a big difference in them doing better than their 12-5 mark in the Southern Conference, which was good, but they were eliminated in an upset loss on quarterfinals Saturday up in Asheville, North Carolina. Bigelow now trying to match the 3 made free throws that we saw out of Alamir Dawes earlier in this first half.
Anytime you have somebody who can guard 4 positions and space the floor for you, you take him every single time. Clemson would love to have more guys like that.
Sure. Remember, guy you played for, Oliver Purnell, his mantle in recruiting, long and athletic. And
well, he missed that with me. Yeah, other than that,
I was going to finish,
for me.
Well, I was going to finish the joke. And Hall inside, Godwin Fallon. The finish of that joke was going to be, and then they also recruited you.
They needed a little skill. That was the only thing. I could shoot it. I could space it out for all those athletes.
I had the freight train coming into the station on that one. You got in the way. You went for the block charge right there.
I did. I completely ruined the punchline.
So P.J. Hall leads all scorers with 12 in the game. In fact, the closest Tiger to him in points is Dawes, who has 6. A motivation to get his team to 2-0 in the season, to knock off the team, his dad's alma mater, and to get a win against the team from his hometown in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Naz Bohannon comes back out.
Naz Bohannon's last game at Youngstown State was a triple-double in their conference tournament. He hasn't really been able to find his footing so far for the Tigers, but he's somebody who can get a defensive rebound and take off and make good decisions. He's an excellent passer, a very good ball handler. Just needs to kind of find his role in his new spot here at Clemson.
Tigers will generally press, not to trap, not to force turnovers, just to disrupt and distract and take some time off the shot clock. Looked like it's going to be an Austin Patterson catch and shoot. Godwin off a good game. His Career high the other night, 17 against Bob Jones. Bigelow fouled on a strong drive to the bucket.
You got to give Wofford's bigs credit. They passed the ball so well out of the post. Nice move as you see Bigelow driving to the lane. Goes up strong, draws the foul. Tigers up 6.
Coming up at halftime, a recap of the first half with highlights and stats, and also we'll dive into Clemson's signing class of 3 announced the other day as the Tigers rebuild the troops. With Terrence Oglesby, Pete Hannity with you here in Littlejohn Coliseum. So every coach is out on the road at the various key recruiting points in the spring and summer and throughout the season. And Brad Brownell doing another nice job getting some guys who are really well respected, and the schools they beat tells you of the quality they got coming in. But that balancing act, because Brad Brownell has been using the transfer portal also to his strength in recent years.
Yeah, he has. And if you look at the Sweet 16 team he had, you got Eli Thomas from Texas A&M. You had a Robert Morris transfer and the great Marquise Reed, and Sheldon Mitchell came over from Vanderbilt. And it's almost became a way of life for college coaches right now. If you could just go down the road in Athens, Georgia, Tom Crean had to deal with losing his top 8 scorers from last year. I mean, that's unheard of any time before the one-time transfer rule went into effect. And guys being immediately eligible, it makes it difficult, but it also makes things easier for some coaches because, I mean, let's look at Texas, one of the best teams in the country. 7 new faces, 7 people who had averaged double figures last year. You can get good in a hurry.
Hunter tries to get the lid off for the Tigers. They're on a drought. No field goals now for roughly 4 minutes. Bigelow just made those free throws to pull Wofford within 4. They trailed by 14 earlier in this half.
And the 3-ball changes everything, but one constant for Wofford, they're getting the ball in the post, and they've had good passers out of it, but not able to convert on that particular occasion.
Godwin tried to do his best Messiah Jones impression. He's just a sophomore, but grew his game in the second half of last year. Hall, the big fella, delivers big.
P.J. Hall expanding his game. Not only is he good down on the block and passing, but he can step out. If you can do that at 6'10", golly, he's a hard guy to guard. It doesn't matter if you're playing Carolina or Duke, and Nick Honor just with another steal. Pesky defensively.
Bohannon, first points as a Tiger on the run out. 5-0 run for Clemson. Jay McCauley's seen enough.
And P.J. Hall, man, he got away with a little bit of a moving screen, but nice job by Naz Bohannon to get all the way to the rim.
Naz Bohannon on the verge of 1,240 career points. A great scorer for Youngstown State. You saw him deliver to the basket just moments ago.
And he's such a big, strong athlete. He's a little bit undersized at the 4 position, but you think about guys back from Brownell's past, whether it be Jerron Blossingame, whether it be Dante Grantham, guys that can get the ball off the glass and push it on their own. And when Clemson has shooters on the floor and they can run wide, he can operate. That's when he's best, able to finish on that possession. But when Nick Honor's running to the corner, when Alamir Dawes is running to the corner, those guys can get hot in a hurry.
Terriers pulled within 4 after trailing by 14. Offered the ball, but you see the Tigers have gone back up by 9. Bigelow so important to what they do. So is Larson. That's him with the ball. Mack couldn't get it to go over Hall. Whistle inside. There were some complaints coming about a reach in from the Wofford bench. There was no whistle. Interestingly, foul called on the rebound try against the Tigers.
Well, Clemson's having to battle big time, and Hunter Tyson actually got away with a hook right there. That's actually a flagrant foul, but Tigers awfully handsy out on the perimeter chasing around these screens, and Coach McCauley's complaining a lot. And B.J. Mack, too, he's getting pushed out. He thinks they're using 2 hands, but he's got to be more physical down low and get lower when he receives the ball.
Messiah Jones can't get the roll, and the lead remains 9. Keep an eye on Hall. He's already passed his career high. He had scored 10 in his very first game a year ago against Mississippi State. As Honor turns around and the ball deflects out to Bigelow. Hall already with 16 points to lead all scorers. Other end, Stafford. And a battle for the rebound. Nice job, Chase Hunter, deflecting it to a teammate. Tyson from Hunter.
It's raining threes. You would think coming into this game it'd be Wofford knocking down all these shots, but Clemson When that ball starts moving quickly, they are so much more effective, playing a little bit earlier in the shot clock than we're accustomed to seeing from a Brad Brownell team. But they're able to shoot it at this rate. I doubt he's going to stop them.
Larson with the answer.
Can't leave him open. 45% three-point shooter last year. Hit almost 2 a game. He is tough as nails, and he doesn't seem to get rattled. He's an older player. He's been in this Wofford system for 4 years now. Done a nice job so far this game after a little bit of a rough start.
Perfect. 6 for 6 on threes to start the season for Larson. Honor. Strong move on Jones. Bodies fly, no whistle. Here come the Terriers. Under a minute to go in the opening half. Patterson almost traveled, instead fires, and here come the Terriers. Back-to-back threes. They're back within 6.
6 points, and like we said earlier, Pete, a 12-point lead isn't a 12-point lead against Wofford. They can come back in a hurry. It is raining threes for the Terriers.
Terriers a year ago, 36% from beyond the arc. And the Tigers weren't bad either at 35%, but Wofford is almost like they think three first. Larson that time, and they had to call the reach in as he almost pulled down Hunter. Second on the senior from St. Paul, Minnesota.
Good drive, being aggressive by Chase Hunter. He's one of the most athletic players, not only on Clemson's team, but in the conference. Able to get into the middle of the paint. Needs to be more efficient finishing, but he is a top-notch athlete. And Clemson and Wofford shot similar percentages from three, but we got to keep in mind, too, Pete, Wofford shot them at a far higher rate than Clemson. 51% of their shot attempts came from beyond the arc, which was first in the country.
And that's the thought process that they generally think three first. And folks remember way back when they first put the three-point rule in, you had Loyola Marymount and a U.S. international team that would pretty much get it across midcourt and fire a three. They're not like that. They run a lot of sets, but usually the final pass is out beyond the arc.
Well, their best threes are coming as inside-out threes, whether it be B.J. Mack on the inside or Godwin looking when he has the ball in the post, skipping it back out. When that ball comes out of the post like that, they're tough.
Under 10 to go. Larson tried to shed a defender. Looked like Hunter might have gotten a fingernail on that one. And the Tigers will get it back, though, with 2.6 remaining.
Tough possession, 2.6. We'll see what Coach Brownell tries to get here at the end of the half.
Hunter Tyson's arm. Patterson got a hand on it. He will heave. Counts if it goes. And that's how we arrive at halftime. A Tiger team that led by as many as 14 against the Wofford Terriers, who trailed by 8 at the break against P.J. Hall and Clemson. Opening half, the threes flew more successfully for the Tiger team. 5 of 11 for Clemson beyond the arc in half number 1.
And the ball movement has been excellent for Clemson so far, but don't worry. The Terriers are coming. They can absolutely fill it up. Clemson has to stay on their toes going into the second half.
68th meeting all time between Clemson and Wofford. Getting ready for our second half. Tigers up by 8 with Terrence Oglesby. Pete Hannity back with you courtside here in Littlejohn. And a Tiger team we noted jumped out to a 14-point advantage in the opening half. Wofford, though, able to get back in the ball game. And I think kind of a little bit of irony, as we'll see in the upcoming highlights, as to how the opening half played out, because as we showed when we showed you the stats, the fact that Terriers scored a little bit more than the Tigers down low is a big storyline.
It's been a role reversal. Clemson knocking everything down from the outside, and Messiah Jones for the Terriers doing everything on the inside. Terriers up 12-10 in paint touches, or paint points rather, doing a nice job establishing inside out. Haven't been able to shoot the ball well, but Messiah Jones is a workman in the post. Always going to his left hand, but good footwork to get around.
That was part of a run of 5 scores and 6 trips for Wofford as they eliminated a 14-point deficit, whittled it down to just 4, but P.J. Hall has been good from the start of this game.
He hasn't been good. He's been great. 16 points, 5 boards, and 3 of 4 from beyond the arc, showing his versatility as a 6'10 big man, playing some defense, slipping some screens, knocking down some shots. P.J. Hall's done a little bit of everything for the Tigers.
Clemson team up by 8, the 39-point output. Very nice on the offensive side. Defensively for Brad Brownell, you allow a team 31 points in the opening half, and generally things are going to work out well. And, well, the Tigers' top 6 defensive point totals to conclude a year, 5 of them have happened under Brad Brownell. He's always been known for his defensive expertise, and it's really shown.
Well, he's one of the best scouting coaches in the country and one of the best defensive coaches in the country. Them, alongside Virginia, perennially are 2 of the best defensive teams in the conference. And if you're one of the best defensive teams in the conference, you're also that in the country as well. An excellent coach as far as that's concerned, scouting ahead, finding tendencies, and really kind of mitigating opposing teams' best player, which is what he's been so good at for so long.
And in this case, they were able to get one of the top 2 players on Wofford in foul trouble, Clemson, with 3 in the opening half. And for the first half of action, Larson just 5 points. Brad Brownell's team led by P.J. Hall, 16. Alamir Dawes has 6. Terriers led by Klesmet, 6 around his foul trouble, and Bigelow and Patterson also have 6 points each.
And if I'm Jay McCauley, I'm not all worried right now. His team hasn't shot the ball well, only 3 of 12 from beyond the arc. This is a team that can turn it on in a hurry. You're only down 8. You've been guarding pretty well. And Clemson's doing some pretty uncharacteristic things as far as spacing the floor with that of their 5-man in P.J. Hall. You have to like where you're at if you're the Wofford Terriers.
Terriers trying to get another win on an ACC floor this week for the Southern Conference. The Citadel went in and picked up a decisive victory at Pitt on Tuesday night. Wofford ball to start the second half. Jones down low on Hall. Nice move again. Listed as 6'6", maybe only 6'5", but Messiah Jones plays much bigger.
And he's strong as an ox. He just moved PJ out of the way, getting to his left hand. I know he's going left. You know he's going left. Everybody does. Nick on a strong move to the basket. Able to get the and one. Nice seal by P.J. Hall, but nice work by the Tigers getting to the hole, crossover, getting all the way down the lane line. P.J. Hall getting away with a little bit of a moving screen, but and one for the diminutive. You like that word, don't you, Pete?
I prefer smallish.
Smallish.
But we're in the same neighborhood, and honor his first bucket of the night. A year ago, the Fordham transfer, 74% on free throws for a Clemson team that was 77%, as that stat has really grown over the years under Brad Brownell. Wofford, which a few seasons ago had 2 guys who were hovering either right around 90 or better on the same roster, and another one who's in the high 80s. They were a 71% free throw shooting team a year ago, which is kind of low for their standards. Mack looking for Jones. So we'll see how Jay McCauley's trying to attack to get back in this game. That time, lost the handle in the air to Jones, and Hall clears it for the Tigers. Clemson pushing the pace. Dawes in transition.
P.J. Hall doing a little bit of everything. Great hustle on the offensive board, throwing it off the Terriers' leg. Man, he is bringing a different sort of energy to the Tigers. Nice offensive rebound. Maybe a quick shot by Alamir Dawes, but P.J. Hall's leaving it all out there. Throws it off B.J. Mack's leg. Great play by the sophomore.
And the emphatic response by Hunter Tyson near that play. Brad Brownell talking about the other day the good chemistry he's seen for this team, with 5 newcomers joining 6 holdovers. And, of course, there are some walk-on guys as well, but he really does like the off-the-court demeanor of his guys when they're around each other. Patterson off the honor miss. Larson, quick pass. Jones maybe didn't need to pump fake it. He'll try again. And one.
Great job running the floor. Messiah Jones saw his team got the rebound. Rim runs. Gets down the court faster than anybody else. Misses the first one, but is patient enough to get the defense off his feet. Nice ball fake. Draws the foul. Well, it wasn't a foul right there, but he stayed after it. Didn't complain. Got the defense up in the air. Big-time finish by a big-time player for Wofford.
Jones 10.3 points a game. Storm Murphy and Trey Hollowell, both guards, were their 2 leading scorers a year ago. Murphy now with Mike Young at Virginia Tech, getting a final season of play there, and Hollowell landed at Morehead State. Wofford, being a college, doesn't have a grad program of any kind, so it's tough for them to have guys stay more than 4 years because you're getting a very good student athlete who can get through school in 4 years.
And it's tough because talking to Coach McCauley, Storm Murphy actually wanted to return. But in order to return, for him to get anything out of the education, he was going to have to take 22 hours of accounting. He said, Coach, I love you. I don't know if I love you that much. That's a heck of a semester. And I agree with him. Storm now obviously at Virginia Tech, and Virginia Tech is up for a great season up in Blacksburg. Mike Young has put together a heck of a squad.
Honor after the turnover by Dawes, and then Jones will be called for the foul.
Coach McCauley is animated down here on the bench. He feels like he's getting the raw end of the deal, and Clemson's playing awfully physical. Wofford's trying to keep up, but there's been a lot going on down on this end of the floor. But Nick Honor, and it's been a reoccurring theme. Wofford hasn't been able to take care of the basketball. And most of their turnovers, Pete, have been live ball turnovers, resulting in fast break opportunities.
Dawes, he looked for Hall, who was covered up. Instead, Tyson.
And that's a great lift by Hunter Tyson. Nice recognition by Alamir Dawes coming off the screen. He hits the raised guy. Hunter Tyson has just enough time to get the shot off.
Tyson 2 of 5 beyond the arc. He's got 8 so far. Here's Larson on the pull-up. Leaves it short. Mack flies in for the rebound. And then Tyson scrapping, and a foul is called.
And that's B.J. Mack. He had Isaiah Bigelow out on the wing. He could have just pitched it out. Got a little overzealous trying to get the offensive rebound put back. But what an offensive play coming back. And Alamir Dawes showing his patience. He didn't have that his first year. He's grown up as a player. An excellent pass back to Hunter Tyson. And Tyson, as we've said earlier, he is one of the most improved players from year to year that I think I've ever seen, Pete.
A quick tying of the shoe.
Hunter's playing a lot of minutes. I think he's taking a little extra time. Look at him.
Might be like a NASCAR machine
right.
that needs to change the, in this case, the left side tires instead of the right side.
I like to call those veteran moves. Whenever I'm playing pickup on Sundays and I can barely breathe, I pull that more often than you would think.
Yeah. Foul situation. The Terriers with 3 here in the second half, 1 so far on the Tigers. Keep in mind, Klesmit remains over on the bench, one of Wofford's better offensive threats with 3 fouls. Collins fouled by Bigelow, and Isaiah Bigelow again an emphatic reaction, and that'll be number 3 on him. And wait a minute.
We have
a little bit of
kerfuffle.
Yeah, a little bit of extracurricular there.
I'm not exactly sure I saw what happened, but Wofford getting awfully animated. It looks like we're going to take a look at it. And Wofford, Coach McCauley's been upset. Their players are getting upset. Morgan Safford's, who's in his first game back after dealing with an injury in the offseason, he's a little flustered. Wofford needs to calm down, or this game's going to get away from him.
Our officiating crew tonight, Tony Green, Doug Shows, and Chuck Jones. And not sure if it was Safford, number 13 for the Terriers.
So what happened was Ryan Larson, as he was walking past, kind of grazed David Collins as he was on the floor, and P.J. Hall took exception to it, and I think we're going to have a look at it right here, but P.J. Hall is not letting his guys getting bullied by anything. Look at Ryan Larson. I don't think it was intentional. I think P.J. Hall got a bad angle. It was actually Ryan Larson bumped into Dawes. There's much to do about nothing, really, Pete.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd probably get a technical foul out of this, but it didn't seem like it was a big deal.
Be a double technical, and you would suppose Safford and Hall will be those, and that'll be the case. Morgan Safford of Wofford and P.J. Hall of Clemson. And that was after Bigelow picked up his 3rd.
Much to do about nothing, Pete.
So we'll have free throws.
If it's a double technical, no free throws.
I'm sorry, I jumped the gun. Double technical, so simply just a
play on, and I think it's
play.
supposed to be no shots. So
keep in mind, though, for P.J. Hall, with that counting as a personal, now he has 3.
Yeah, he needs to be careful. Uncalled for, really. I'd imagine he sits down at least until after the first media here in the second. P.J. Hall, he means too much to this team to get something kind of stupid like that.
Safford still haven't recorded his first. Ooh, nice move by Tyson. He lost the freshman Turner. That's what a senior can teach you when you're new to the college game.
David Collins did a nice job recognizing that Wofford had a bit of a miscommunication, had two guys on him. What's the fastest way to get it there? Flip it behind your back, and Hunter Tyson's just been capitalizing.
Honor takes it away. Too strong for Patterson. Dawes. Pass a little bit wide of him.
Possessions like that are what could blow a game open. You had Alamir Dawes there in the corner. Nick Honor needs to take care of the ball right there. Nice move behind the back. Little miscommunication. The freshman Turner leaves his feet, and you can't do that against a senior like Hunter Tyson. He'll make you pay.
So the lead back out to double figures. Clemson was up by as many as 14 in the opening half of play. Wofford whittled that to 4 before trailing by 8 at the half. Larson, Jones, Shefflin, the freshman, did everything he could. Probably lucky he didn't get a foul called on him.
Big time finish on Messiah Jones. When you're undersized, your best option is to get your chest on top of the opponent's shoulders. Get up there quicker. He was able to do that. Nice move by the junior.
Dawes, Larson almost had the steal, but looks like he caught the arm.
That might have been a bailout call. Clemson got in possession with a little bit of bad spacing there.
Show you how the Terriers are able to use Messiah Jones to his strength.
Nice job. Look, he gets his chest up on top of Shiflin, eliminating his added length compared to Jones. And when you have a chest and arms as big as him, gosh, you can hold guys off. Nice finish.
3 fouls on Larson. He'll get a breather in the second half. We're not even to the under 16 yet, and Wofford already with 16 fouls. And make it 7. That's going to go against Jones, and probably tightening up the calls after things got chippy moments ago.
Yeah, and there's a lot of holding and grabbing, not just on this end, but on the Clemson end as well, whenever they're having to guard. But, you know, you get 2 technicals, guys get a little chippy, you need to clean it up. You take the air out of the gym a little bit, but at the same time, you keep guys from getting in their own way.
Messiah Jones, and I believe they're going to take a look at video to make sure they got the right person on the foul.
I'm not quite sure what we're looking at.
It was a clock issue, so now they're trying to get that fixed.
Probably 3 seconds.
Officials have spent a whole lot of time over the table since we began the second half. They will add 2 seconds. And they will reset the shot clock. And it'll be 1-1, so that's something else. You're looking at an 11-point deficit if you're Wofford, and here you are.
1-1.
16-18 to go in the second half.
You can think that technical. You can think 3 foul calls here on this possession alone. Wofford getting a little over physical. You can't blame them. They're battling. But at the same time, you have to be smart about it, especially when you're on the road. If you put it on the free throw line, of course, Shiflin has to capitalize. I mean, that's a given. But that's tough.
Keaton Turner running the point for Wofford, with Larson with 3 fouls over on the bench. Messiah Jones stays on the floor, and a reach-in foul will be called. They'll get Shefflin.
It's only right that they got a couple of foul calls on this end. But Shefflin can't play with your hands. You're playing an older player. You have your hands out, obviously, contesting, but whenever he starts to drive, you got to chest up.
Turner looking to get it in. He will to Klesman, who's back out there with 3 fouls. Safford, feed. Jones had it knocked away. Safford gets it back. Nice finish by Morgan Safford, the sophomore out of Columbus, Ohio.
All freshman performer last season, coming back from a lower leg injury. All conference. Very solid player for the Terriers.
Shefflin almost dragged his foot. Dawes defended by Turner. Pretty spin by Alamir, and there's Safford on the rebound. Morgan Safford really came on last season. And didn't play the other night. coming off a leg injury. There's a 3 attempt by Jones, and you see why they tend to rely more on him on the inside. He was just 1 of 6 a year ago beyond the arc.
That's not what he does, but I'll tell you what, if he gets it around here, he can finish. Got a little bit lucky, but Morgan Safford picking it up and keeping the Terriers. P.J. Hall actually means so much to this team. He needs to stay on the floor, and this is the kind of respect he commands. He rolls to the bucket. B.J. Mack has to sink in, and that leaves Hunter Tyson wide open. And when you're a 40% three-point shooter and you have a vertical spacer like Hall, it's all going to work out in your favor. And they're better with him on the floor. He's got to stay on. Can't get silly fouls. Can't get silly fouls.
That was such a storyline last season, how early he would get in foul trouble, and that's why he had his best scoring game in the very first game. He was never really able to get a consistent flow offensively. 7-point game here. And a slip and a travel, and Wofford a chance to get closer. Yeah, you look at the scoreboard tonight, T.O., and Furman right now is down by 2 in the second half at Louisville. And another battle between SoCon and ACC. Western Carolina trails late in the first half by a point at Wake Forest. So it gives you an idea of the caliber of league that the SoCon has become.
Well, I mean, the SoCon top 10 in the net rankings. I mean, they have made a big-time investment in basketball in that conference, and rightfully so. There's about 5 teams in that league that could potentially win it. As Max Klesman hasn't been able to get going, but Morgan Safford has done it on the offensive glass.
I believe Collins was standing on the baseline.
And they're worrying about the wrong things right now, Pete. I mean, Wofford's really frustrated. They need to regain their composure because they're able to do a lot of things. Nice offensive rebound and good job getting after it. Nice job. You know what? I was wrong. Nice job by Clemson to stay vertical.
Klesman strong inside. He's going to go for him there, but he'll go to the line.
Nice baseline out of bounds. Klesman. He's a very good change of pace guard. He's never really in a hurry. You're going to see him come off a couple of screens, and he catches it. Look at it. It's not in a rush. He's not in a rush. Should have hopes he converts it, but doesn't on that occasion. But he is a nice player. The sophomore does a little bit of everything to him. Coach McCauley told me if I could play him 45 minutes, I would, but he can't do that if he's got 3 fouls in the first half.
85% from the line as a freshman. Neenah High School in Wisconsin. His career high 23 points the other night against Bob Jones, one of 3 Terriers on their squad to make a significant impact. 3 freshmen last year on their squad for the Terriers to make a significant impact. Couple of free throws just like that, a 5-point game.
They have just battled. Simple as that. They've just battled. Now Clemson, they're trying to enter the ball in the post. Luke Turner's doing a fantastic job. Kind of playing peekaboo defense, and they're not able to enter it.
Hunter had to go off his leg. Klesman scrapping for the ball. Also there with Collins, and the Terriers will get it back.
Where does this come from? P.J. Hall not being in the basketball game. Setting screens, handling the ball on the perimeter, passing it, shooting it. They need him back in the game as soon as possible, but you have to be conservative a little bit right now because you're going to need him the last 10 minutes, almost more. Tigers need to do a better job taking care of the basketball with him on the bench.
And Hunter Tyson also out. Turner, nice feed. Finish inside. Godwin, it's a 3-point game.
No inside presence defensively. Shiflin's a big body, and we're going to get a timeout. Wofford is feeling themselves. They are fired up coming off to the bench. Nice job by Wofford getting this momentum back and attacking the rim.
Terriers have been giant killers over the years. They're smelling upset here tonight in Clemson. Jay McCauley had 3 freshmen come in and make a big impact a year ago. Safford, Klesman, and Godwin.
It's never happened before in the SoCon that 3 freshmen actually get nominated and placed on the team. And Wofford has good class balance. You have all those 3 now sophomores. Ryan Lawson, a senior. Bigelow, a junior. They have players at every year, so you don't lose much.
Hall back on the floor with 3 personal fouls for Clemson. That's him with the ball. 16 points on the night, all in the first half. Trying to get it to him right here. Shot clock coming up on 5. Collins, quiet night scoring for him after the 14-point debut. Bohannon battles inside. Went back up with it, knocked away. Tigers
That's a
plenty of time
possession
to set
you
up.
have to finish if you're Wofford, and that's tough because they were being physical down there. Ball just didn't bounce their way. But if they're going to make a run at this game, only down 3, you got to finish possessions, and a turnover by P.J. Hall, that can't happen.
Just a pass that bounced right into the hands of B.J. Mack. So Wofford getting the stop. Mack working on Bohannon. A couple of guys who transferred into their respective programs. Strong move by the 6'8 Mack over the 6'6 Naz Bohannon. It's a 1-point game.
And that was grown man on grown man, and B.J. Mack just put his shoulder down and got all the way to the bucket. Naz Bohannon's a little undersized, but B.J. Mack, man, that's a strong human.
Boy, what a nice move by Honor. Up and under again.
Great move, got his hip on the defender, and he's a crafty finisher down there.
Keaton Turner. And what do you know? We've got a tie at 49.
Oh, man, the lid's about to pop off. The Wofford fans behind their bench are going crazy right now. Keaton Turner with a big-time move. We have a foul call. And this is significant now because Wofford's making a run, and they're in the bonus this early. I mean, it's 12 and a half minutes, but they got in there at about 16. Nick Honor, a little double cross. Able to get past, but nice move, a little up and under. Tough finish. It's been a reoccurring theme. We're tied at 49, but it's been a reoccurring theme for Clemson that when things get hard, Nick Honor and Alamir Dawes have been the guys to kind of figure it out for them. You need that, and you also need PJ to come back alive like he was in the first half. Scoreless so far in the second.
So unable to hit on that free throw honor. Larson runs into traffic. B.J. Mack. And Honor call for the foul for we were frozen in time for a split second. Wonder if they might say that Mack lowered the shoulder.
Yeah, and it was a good job by Nick Honor to get over and slide in front of the defense. But the guys for Wofford, they've settled into this game. First half, they were a little bit rattled. The guards were getting underneath him as we have Hunter Tyson come back in the game. But Ryan Larson settled in. He would have forced that trying to get a floater in the first half. This half, he calms down, he pitches it back out, and Wofford gets a foul.
Safford, interesting matchup, guys. 6'5", can go out on the wing and shoot. Won't get that one to go. Mack, though, offensive rebound. Turner, back to the line he goes, and Wofford, its first lead of the night.
Keaton Turner has come alive, whether it be a transition three or cutting to the basket and finishing. Wofford takes a 2-point lead, and there's one more on the way. Keaton Turner, the sophomore, coming out and showing out. Nice cut to the basket. And we said it in the first half, B.J. Mack, excellent passer, especially when that ball comes up in his right hand, finds the cutting Turner. And Coach McCauley told me the Hopewell native was a little nervous and he gets a little wound up. But today, he looks fully relaxed and playing to the fullest of his capabilities.
Out of Hopewell, Virginia, Wofford really diverse geographically in the makeup of their roster. 3-point play for Keaton Turner. A year ago, he averaged just 2 points or so a contest. Didn't need to be a factor with Storm Murphy, of course, taking most of the minutes at point guard. 3-point advantage to the Terriers. So just as the other night was a tale of two halves, this one not going in the right direction for Clemson with an 8-point lead at the break, but Wofford significantly better. Nice move, Hunter Tyson, no. Shefflin can't get the finish. Tyson can't get the roll.
That's tough. That was a great move by Tyson, but they better get back and communicate, and that's a travel. Ryan Larson, that's one you need. He thought B.J. Mack saw him, but Wofford doing a great job setting the tempo defensively and turning this game around in their favor.
Let's revisit our keys to the game with Wofford up by 3.
Well, Wofford needed to handle pressure, and in the first half, they sure struggled. A lot of Clemson's offense was dictated off changing defense into offense and getting easy layups. This half, they've turned it around a little bit. Wofford doing a nice job taking care of the basketball and turning defense into offense in their own right, whether it be Keaton Turner hitting a three or generating offense early in the clock. Wofford has flipped this game on its head.
Tigers on the wrong end of a 16-2 run over the past 5:30 by the Wofford Terriers. Tyson trying to sneak it inside. It goes off the foot, I believe, of Jones. Remember, there was that little skirmish that led to P.J. Hall picking up his third personal foul on the double technical, and really since then, that ignited Wofford.
Changed the momentum of the game, and you can see Clemson offensively, there was so much crisp offense in the first half, so much pop in their cutting. They've lost a little bit of that here in the second.
Honor from way outside.
Big time shot by Nick Honor. Comes off the screen at the right 45 and knocks it in, ties the game up. The crowd's coming alive here at Littlejohn. Wofford, this is where it pays off to have a senior guard handling the rock for you.
Second time we've been tied here in half number 2. Larson, Safford on the wing. Got that real singular right-handed shot. It's really pronounced. And Safford knocks down the tray.
Nice shot by Safford. That play was made by Ryan Larson. Fantastic use of the pick and roll. Seeing the Rays guy hitting him, Safford, he could have checked the wind before he shot that one. Was wide open at the result of his point guard.
Tyson, nice move around Mack, goes to the bucket on Jones.
Hunter Tyson has just expanded his game, whether it be shooting threes or putting it on the floor. They needed that bucket. Clemson down 1. Right now, they need a stop because Wofford's got all the momentum.
Tyson joining Hall in double figures, now has 12. Larson underneath. Jones lost the handle. Working on the call, the 6'10 Tiger sophomore able to deny. Traveling is the call, and that'll be a 10th turnover on the night for Wofford. Each team trying to use the 3 in a big way.
How about Nick Honor coming off the ball screen? Gets caught underneath. Klesma, you got to go over top on Nick Honor. He'll knock it down in your face. And wait a second. Excellent use of the pick and roll by Ryan Larson. Look how open Safford is. That's target practice. Go ahead and count it for the sophomore.
Tigers trying to retake the lead. Race out to a 14-point advantage in the opening half. Honor, I don't know if Hall was ready for it. Klesma sure was. He knocks it out.
Nice help side defense by Klesma coming in on the roll guy. And P.J. Hall, ever since that technical foul, just hasn't had the same pop. It's like he's tried to calm himself down so much he's lost that edge. Needs to get that back.
You may have noticed Klesma goes to the bench. They'll try to nurse things along without him until the under 8 with those 3 personals in the opening half. Honor with the ball, 8 points. Done a lot of damage in the second half. Counted if it goes, it does. And he'll head to the line. He's in double figures.
Wow, what a great use of the pick and roll. He beat Bigelow around the hedge. I'm not sure if they were trying to switch or not, but Bigelow's got to cut off the ball. Nick Honor comes off the ball screen, gets his hand stuck in the cookie jar. If you're going to foul, you better get your money's worth because now Clemson has a 3-point opportunity. Nice job by Nick Honor to stay composed, use a change of pace, and get all the way to the rim. They call him Big Foe. Big Foe with the free throws.
74% last season. He scored just 2 points in the opener against PC, but stands at the line with a chance to get to 11 on the night.
Well, he's so good when he's able to attack hard hedges or switches. In that particular occasion, Wofford tried to switch, and Bigelow just wasn't fast enough to stay in front of him. And not many people can stay in front of him, Pete.
Honor 3-point play. Tigers back in front by 2. Keaton Turner growing up in a hurry in his sophomore season. Little runner with the right hand. Bohannon on the rebound. Crossing over on Larson. Offensive foul, the call.
Saw that coming yesterday. Naz Bohannon, when that defense sits in front of you, get it back out, run some offense. Look, Wofford's entire team is back in position. You're not going to get anything. Especially, you have to know, too, that Ryan Larson's there to take charges. Got to be smart, play smarter basketball as Larson, and he's holding his back. I mean, he's dealt with some injuries because he always seems to be on the floor, but Naz Bohannon needs to do a better job of composing himself a little bit, getting a good offensive possession in a tight one.
And Larson will get some rest. Variety of injuries over the years as a result of playing hard for Larson. Terriers with the ball back. Team fouls now. 9 on Wofford in the second half, and that was the 7th on Clemson, so Wofford now in the bonus, and they're a good free throw shooting team. working on Bohannon as Jones almost reached out with the arm, tries to reverse. No, Bigelow probably didn't realize he could have reached out, maybe gotten the rebound. He was scrapping with honor. Good job by Naz Bohannon taking away that left hand and making Messiah Jones go right. And you see the result. Great pass by Hunter. And Tyson was thinking assist. Bohannon is fouled, and he'll go to the line for 2 free throws. Wofford's help side came over a little bit late. And you'll see Naz Bohannon laying on that left hand, and when you do that, you try to make him go baseline to his right. He loses it. Great job staying vertical, not fouling. Great defensive possession. Safford picking up his second foul. Bohannon at Youngstown State last season, 60% on his free throws. Got to convert these free throws in a close game. We're going to see this game could come down to free throws towards the end, and it's going to be a shame because Clemson had Wofford in the bonus with 16 minutes and 12 seconds to play in this half and just haven't been able to capitalize like they've needed to. 1 of 2 Bohannon. Really interesting stats at Youngstown State. Nearly 1,250 in points, closing in at 1,000 rebounds and 300 assists. Knocked away by Dawes, disrupting like the Tigers try to do in that backcourt pressure. Turner will drive on Dawes and kick it. And from the corner, no for Bigelow that time. Drive to the bucket, and he'll go to the line. And I thought David Collins had good position, but I think this was a good call if we're going to be able to get the replay. Collins slid up underneath the offense, but man, he looked like he had good position. That was a close call. Take another look as David Collins picks up a 3rd personal foul. Oh, that's close. That's close. It looked like he was there, but even so, Hunter Tyson, you can test that shot. You got to get back in the play, get back on the boards. Ooh. 2 free throws for Isaiah Bigelow out of Greensboro Smith. He just has such a nice looking jump shot, and it seems like he's gotten himself back composed after getting a little bit rattled early in the half. And Wofford was picked a little bit lower than they had been in recent years in the Southern Conference in the preseason poll. I think simply because folks aren't factoring in Bigelow, and they see that Storm Murphy and another good scorer, Trey Hollowell, have moved on. But you've got a very nice nucleus. Just ask Brad Brownell what he thinks of Wofford coming into this game and now coming out of it. He'll be talking even more glowingly about how good this team is. And Bigelow able to knock down both. And Coach Brownell and his staff are so good at scheduling games like this because Wofford's able to be one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the SoCon, which is a highly rated net team in conference. And they have another one later in the year with Drake, and a big, strong move by David Collins. Trying to use that strength and said Dawes from the wing. Boy, that would have been big for Clemson, so Wofford gets it back. Looking to give us a 3rd lead change here in the second half. Little hesitation, and then the scoop won't go for Keaton Turner. And Bohannon, who likes to handle the ball. One end to the other, knocked away. Dawes. And let's see, we're going to get a foul call. They're going to say the ball was simply knocked out of bounds. Is it a foul or out of bounds? Got a timeout on the court. There was a foul down low on the Terriers. Messiah Jones, a barn burner as the stretch run ensues in Littlejohn. And P.J. Hall came alive here in the first half, but in the second half, after this technical foul, Pete, he's really struggled to get going. It kind of took the air out of his team. Going towards the last 7:53 of this game, he's going to have to come back alive, but P.J. Hall so important to this group. Wofford winning the second half by 7 points, and a lot of that's because P.J. Hall has struggled to get going again. Alamir Dawes on the night, 6 points. Give him 7. And I think to Jay McCauley, the Wofford head coach's credit, you would suppose at halftime they made some adjustments to try to deny Hall getting the ball, getting in the flow. 1 of 2 for Dawes. Well, they've done an excellent job keeping the ball out of the post for basically the entirety of the game. Their help side has been tremendous, but you know, it's come down to this. PJ hasn't been as effective, and Wofford hasn't turned the ball over. That's 2 key factors to how Wofford's been playing in the second half. Larson back to Mack. Mack, the big fellow who can usually knock him down. Inside, they will get Safford running into Collins. I didn't see what happened. All I saw was Collins flying through the paint. Take a look in the middle of the lane.
Here he comes. Safford just, he might have embellished a little bit. But it was a foul, but he might have embellished a little bit. Safford just trying to attack the offensive glass and keep plays alive, but that's a tough call, especially now. Clemson's in the double bonus, but Collins, who lives at the free throw line, not only this year, but through the entirety of his career, only pretty poor free throw shooter. 3 of 9, against Presbyterian in their first game, knocks down his first. If he's able to get that down, he's going to score a lot of points because he's the all-time record holder in the American Conference in both free throws made and free throws attempted.
Wow. He was 56% last year, held ball. And the arrow keeps it in Clemson's end. And that was something we noticed the other night. He averaged about 12 a game last year. If he's better than 56% for South Florida at the line, probably would have been up around 14 or 15 points a game. And Jay McCauley is upset with the officiating crew. And a warning from Doug Chow is delivered for Jay McCauley stepping out of the coach's box. Jay McCauley upset with Chuck Jones, the official across the way, I believe.
Nice box out. I thought, hey, that's, he's over the top, sure, but he didn't hold the ball for too long. There wasn't possession by both parties on that occasion. I thought it should have been Wofford basketball right there. He has good reason to be upset, but nice job by PJ to stay in the play and create an extra possession.
So they reset the shot clock at 24.
Big possession for Clemson.
And Mack now called for bumping inside.
And every time Wofford gets really animated, they get another foul. It's happened throughout the course of the game. B.J. Mack doing his best to push PJ further away from the basket. He knows he has help side on the backside, so he can play in the front a little bit, but a little bit too physical. Plus, he was wrapping around with the other arm. That's going to be a foul every time.
Hall now 3 of 5 on the night from the line.
Look, B.J. Mack doing his best to just push him out of the paint. The foul was earlier in the possession. The whistle was blown late, but B.J. Mack can't wrap around him. P.J. needs this free throw to get a little bit of a rhythm back.
First point of the second half for the sophomore out of Dorman High in Spartanburg, and Clemson its biggest lead in a while, up by 4. Honor defending Klesmet out front. And trying to get it over to Jones, knocked away by Honor. Ahead it goes Collins. Last touch by David Collins, and back the other way. Turnovers now. That's a 17th against Clemson.
And I will say this, Klesmet has struggled with foul trouble, as has a lot of Wofford's team, but he's also struggled to hold on to the ball. I mean, Nick Honor is giving him fits. He needs to do a better job of probing the defense, getting him to back off a little bit. Fake like you're going to drive, like that right there. Create a little bit of space for yourself.
Klesmet for 2. Terriers 0 of their last 6. They haven't had a field goal in 4 minutes here in the second half after they ran out to a 3-point lead. Boy, that would have brought the crowd to its feet. Last touch by Larson. It'll stay on the Clemson end. P.J. Hall fighting inside.
Good job. A lot of tossling and turning. Good job by P.J. Him and Larson are going at it.
Got to think P.J. living in Spartanburg knows a lot of these guys. That's at least the second time tonight we have seen a Clemson pass go to a player who had already cut in the other direction.
And those are early season turnovers, Pete. You're still kind of learning where guys are going to be. I think in that particular occasion, I don't think P.J. Hall got the play call because I think that was a called backdoor by Tyson.
Klesmet driving inside, changed hands. Jones in front, and the foul is called.
Jones again attacking the offensive glass, averaged over 2.5 last season. And he lit, like we've said pretty much all game, Pete, like he lives in the paint. Not going to extend you out too far. He's worked on that part of his game, but a monster on the boards, and that's where he does all of his damage. Needs to be a better free throw shooter this year. And I think that's a given. But he is able to provide a lot of extra possessions for the Terriers.
61% a year ago. Tonight, Messiah Jones, 1 of 2, and now 1 of 3. Terriers, good free throw shooting team generally. 12 of 16 tonight. Tigers are 18 of 25 at the line.
One possession game. Clemson's been running some pretty good offense. Obviously, you had the miscommunication with Tyson, but they've gotten a lot of shots that they want, just haven't able to blow this game open. That was a nice set. See, that's one where David Collins needs to throw the ball in.
Spinning on Keaton Turner. Jones knocking it to Larson. Terriers can get within 1 or tie. Almost a collision there between Larson and Klesmit. Safford. Klesmit. Turner's minutes extended here in the second half, but he's been a big reason why they've made the run they have from 8 down at the break. And that'll be number 4 on Hall. Terrier bench wanted the basket account. They'll wave it off. Couple of free throws upcoming, though.
Nice drive. He comes and fakes the handoff, and P.J. Hall raises up for a split second, Pete, and that's all it takes when you have a strong physical player like Jones who can get downhill in a hurry. We said it earlier. I'm going to say it again. I feel like I'm repeating myself. The game could come down to free throws. Messiah Jones going to have to knock down a few. Hits his first.
Jones now with 13 points in the game. He's the only Terrier in double figures.
Nas Bohannon's given him some good minutes today. Did struggle a little bit against Presbyterian. And while a lot of the things that he's been doing haven't shown up in the stat sheet, he's communicating at a high level. He's got 5 rebounds and assists, only 3 points, but he's bringing the energy, and he's really spearheading the communication for Clemson on defense.
Sam Godwin, a sophomore big man, just checked back in for Wofford. I don't believe we've seen him to this point in the second half. Bohannon will feed Dawes. Dawes. Big-time 3 for the junior from just outside of NYC.
We've said it time and time again, when these games get tight, Alamir Dawes and Nick Honor look to take over and make things happen. Great job by Dawes reading the defense that went underneath the ball screen. Stops and pops.
And Mack. Tyson thought he held his ground and made him travel for Hunter Tyson. That'll be a 3rd personal foul in the contest.
And I'm not sure what Hunter Tyson's supposed to do there, but I mean, the calls are going both ways, Pete. I mean, Wofford's down there playing physical. Hunter Tyson, I don't know what he could have done different. Brad Brownell obviously unhappy with the call. Hunter Tyson just stood there in front. A little hook action by B.J. Mack, but he's rewarded. Try to make this a 1-possession game, and he does.
Take another look.
I mean, this is good defense. He's got one hand on. He's got one hand out. Now he does grab. That's where the foul is. That's where the foul's on the grab before the spin on the elbow. So, obviously, oh no, Hunter Tyson just has a back problem. That hurts.
Looks to be okay, though. Mack, couple of free throws. 2-point game. You would suppose top of your screen, Alamir Dawes, number 2, is someone they might try to run a play for.
Now you have a switch on B.J. Mack. B.J. Mack has to come up and contest. That shot's off left. But
that's just what he did, and Larson able to save it for Wofford.
Nick Honor needs to attack the rim. You got the switch you want. Get downhill and create something.
Strong move inside Klesmit. Turner stepped out of bounds. Boy, you see the exasperated look on his face.
And that's a nice move. Klesmit makes a nice drive, baseline drift. Turner does a nice job getting down to the corner. Nice pass by Klesmit. Obviously, Turner, the young Keaton Turner. We've got a lot of Turners on that team. The young Keaton Turner got a little overzealous, stepped out of bounds before he could get there.
2 Turners on Wofford, a guy with the first name Hunter and a guy with the last name Hunter on Clemson.
And then we'll have 2 Chaunceys next year, too.
Exactly. Boy, Collins with a nice move. Bohannon cleans up.
And he just gives you energy. That's all he's done for Clemson. They haven't shown up on the stat sheet. He hasn't scored a ton of points. Offensive rebounds, defensive rebounds. He's talking, he's communicating, he's playing excellent defense, and we're going to have a timeout with Coach McCauley. But Nas Bohannon, the points are loud. There's not many, but they're loud.
Timeout on the court, 4:22 to go. Alamir Dawes, he was huge in the second half the other night.
Nice
Stepping up
job.
big as the Tigers go up by 4.
Sees the defense going underneath, stops behind and pops. Wide open. That's Dawes' kind of shot.
One of the side stories of this game is that Jay McCauley's had to nurse foul trouble all the way back to the first half. Clemson had 3 before the break.
There's been a lot of grabbing, a lot of holding. Both Clemson and Wofford dealing with their own versions of foul trouble. Wofford with 3 with 4, and Clemson with arguably their most important player with 4 fouls in P.J. Hall.
Jones looked to work inside. Safford. Tell you one thing, Wofford's going to be playing 12 guys a night, and in their league, that'll really be an advantage. Bohannon, though, denying down low.
Bohannon has changed the game and how he's guarding Messiah Jones. So strong, he can just stay vertical and try to make him score over the top.
Collins almost traveled, lost the handle, scrapping with Safford, arrow, Wofford. We were told by their folks they were pretty deep. I mean, a lot of, whether you're a power conference or a mid-major conference, usually you settle on an 8 or 9 man rotation, but these guys have a bunch of guys. Look at some of the defense played by the Tigers just now.
Yeah, excellent job by Naz Bohannon. Gets up, stays vertical, and I think that's going to take us to a media timeout.
They thought so. But we took it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
When you're in that 30-second window above the 4. This
right.
is for our viewers at home for their viewing
Okay,
pleasure.
excuse me. Well, the team started going to their bench.
No, they did. Because
So
the officials gave there was a little bit of confusion.
Right.
But we are guided by a producer who knows more than all.
He is
And therefore, he had
much smarter than I.
And he had given us the proper guidance. So Wofford down by 4. We'll get it back, just under 4 to play.
She almost went like on like with Bohannon and Messiah Jones. I mean, it's like that Spider-Man thing. Whenever Spider-Man's looking at Spider-Man, they're the same size, same strength, and they're just down there battling.
Safford. Jones. Wow.
Huge play.
Took it away from 2 Tigers and finished. 2-point game.
What a momentum builder right there. Naz Bohannon got pushed out of the way. I'm not sure if he tripped or fell, but ended up on the ground, and you can't do that when you have Messiah Jones there. Tough shot by Nick.
Little stop and pop. Safford the rebound. Here come the Terriers. Chance to tie or retake the lead. Down by 8 at the break.
Clemson's got a lot of one-on-one on the offensive end, but Wofford continues to stay patient. As B.J. Mack gets it in the post. Nice late swish by Collins to get over there and play defense. What a move by B.J. Mack, but he's not able to finish. That would have tied the game, Pete.
Hunter Tyson pulls down the rebound.
That was a senior move by David Collins defensively. He saw Nick Honor. We're going to have a timeout, but he saw Nick Honor get switched off on the bigger player. Does a nice job of communicating, telling him, look, hey, get out of there. I'll switch with you. And that's a good thing about David Collins, 6'4", about 215 pounds. He's strong enough to guard some of those guys, and his defensive versatility is what saved them there.
So Brad Brownell using the timeout. Messiah Jones, again, listed at 6'6". Looks more like he's 6'5", but what great elevation.
Plays a lot bigger than what he is, and he just goes up there and takes it from everybody. Hunter Tyson was there, and Naz Bohannon was there, but man, he's a strong player. His offensive rebounding ability tonight has been second to none, and it's kept Wofford in the game.
And he and the fellow you see standing to the right of the head coach McCauley, number 4, Isaiah Bigelow, they were spectators during that amazing 2018 and 19 season, simply because they didn't need him to play. They redshirted them because they had a group that included the all-time three-point leader in the NCAA, Fletcher McGee, and other really good guards and good post players, Cam Jackson, Kevy Aluma, who's now at Virginia Tech, to name a couple. So as a result, it bought him an extra year, and then now with the free year given last year, which worked out well for Bigelow, who was unable to play because of his knee injury, they continue to grow in this program.
Bunch of old guys. We talked about it. Class balance. Class balance. Wofford has it. And Coach McCauley continues to get guys, and they're recruiting. They're widening their recruiting base. I mean, they've got kids from the Midwest, California, Virginia, up and down the East Coast. I mean, it's a pretty impressive feat what they've been able to do.
Collins gave it away, got it back, can't hit.
Great ATO after timeout play by Coach Brownell. Gets David Collins a wide open shot. That's a good call. And that's been happening all game, Pete. Nick Honor's getting a little overzealous. He sees blood in the water with Klesmet because Klesmet struggled to handle it. But he's still getting a little bit too close, a little bit too handsy. Gets up in the ball, does a nice job getting over the screen. Got his hand stuck in the cookie jar. Good call. Both teams now in the double bonus.
Klesmet will shoot 2. 85% last year.
Wofford 18 of 21 from the free throw line so far.
19 of 22. Second double-figure score for the Terriers. Klesmith give them 10 of the game. We're tied at 66. Under 2.5 to go here in the second half.
And in a game where they've struggled to score, shooting 25% from three, it has kept them in everything. And P.J. Hall finally comes back alive, does a nice job, sealing deep in the post, doesn't waste a dribble, Pete, goes straight up. Nice hook shot by Hall.
Building on his career high with 19 points on the night. Larson, and now back out to Mack. Terriers showing, if nothing else, they're going to be a tough out, as many would expect, in the Southern Conference. Larson from Klesmith, shot clock at 5. Quick pass, Jones, knocked away by Honor. Klesmith looking to beat the shot clock. Did not get it off in time. It would have tied us, but it'll go the other way.
That was awesome help side defense. If we can get a replay of that. Clemson swarming to the basketball. Hunter Tyson not able to get over in time, but nice job by Clemson, just swarming everywhere. Extra rotations, second and third rotations for the Tigers.
And you see, looking at it, just to be double sure that that was the case, seeing it in real time, it did appear he still was touching the basketball before the buzzer sounded.
Yep. This one shouldn't take too long, and it doesn't.
And indeed, it will be a shot clock violation against Wofford at an inopportune time here with 1:46 to go. How about Nick Honor, the scrappy play?
Great job by Nick Honor getting over. That's the crackback guy. You got to get over, you got to slide through, and when you're small, you better have quick hands, and Nick Honor certainly has that. Five steals for Honor tonight.
Nick Honor with 11 points to go with that defensive effort. And a clock issue, perhaps. And it doesn't look like the shot clock ever started.
They haven't been over here enough, Pete, so they're going to come back over here.
They have been busy over here at the scorer's table tonight. Take another look. And everything just froze.
Yeah, we just didn't have anything move.
Klesmith's first reaction was to tell the official. By then, though, he'd noticed.
What a competitive game. And it's not a surprise to many people, Pete. Wofford's been good for a very long time, and they shoot the ball so well. And tonight, Clemson's done a nice job guarding the three. But being as physical as it has been today, they've lived at the free throw line. And they've done an excellent job shooting it from there.
The only thing I'm surprised about is that it was a 14-point difference in the opening half. I thought it would be a competitive game throughout, and neither team would ever have more than a 5 or 6 point lead. And it's proved to be the kind of game that you would certainly want to see this early in the season in terms of interest in a game, because you get a lot of blowouts, and those aren't a whole lot of fun to watch. And obviously, whichever team you're pulling for, you want to see win. But
sure,
they'll end up adjusting by 4 seconds the game clock. Tigers will again inbound with a 2-point lead. On a crossover weekend with a football game in Death Valley at noon tomorrow against UConn. Why they're inbounding from the far end of the court has us a little bit confused. You would think they would inbound at midcourt.
Yeah, they're going to fix that. Hey, if you want to also point out one other thing that Wofford has capitalized on, Clemson's turned the ball over 19 times.
Yeah.
To only 10 assists, and they're having to create a lot on their own with Honor and Dawes, really kind of finding ways for their team to score. But Clemson's got to take care of the ball better. You would think they would because of Dawes and Honor being on the court at the same time, but just need to be stronger with the basketball.
So now they will indeed inbound near midcourt, as we all. I was kind of confused, thinking I'd missed a rule change, but Tigers trying to be careful with the ball. Just a 2-point lead. Hall inside, whistle, and they will get Jones on the personal. And for Messiah Jones, that'll be number 5, and that'll do it for him. That's big for Wofford. He will head to the bench with 16 points on the night, 6 of 11 from the floor, 4 of 6 from the line in 24 minutes.
And nice job by Alamir Dawes, who brings the ball up with some pace. And what happens when he comes off that ball screen, P.J. Hall is able to time that duck in. And what happens, Messiah Jones, even though he's an older player, stood up straight a little bit, resulted in a foul call. Got to stay engaged when the ball goes away from you, especially when you're guarding somebody that's going to post up. I went up to the Champions Classic, Pete, and David McCormick at Kansas is one of the best in the country at timing his seals around the basket. Excellent job by PJ. He could be somebody that lives off a play like that because of his length and athleticism. And he's put on so much weight in the offseason. He's doing a nice job holding guys off, too.
Hall 4 of 6 from the line tonight. And in the ACC games, Hall is going to have to be effective inside for this team.
Has to be. I mean, you bring Shiflin off the bench. He's still a freshman. He's a little undersized. PJ's really, him and Middlebrooks are the two guys, but Middlebrooks isn't quite as skilled offensively yet. Not to say he won't get there, but PJ has got to be the guy. He's got to stay out of foul trouble, one, but he's also got to live at the free throw line.
Tigers are 19 of 27 from the line. Still a one-possession game.
Great set.
And let's see, push with Larson hitting the deck in some pain. Ryan Larson has been banged up tonight. He'll bounce up.
We need to get Ryan Larson some football pads.
Yeah, Hunter Tyson called for the personal.
This was a great set, and this is a motion-based set. What happens is Ryan Larson decides that he's – ooh, that hurt. He decides that instead of coming to get the ball, he goes down to set the screen for a cutting Safford. Nice play recognition by the senior, and he's rewarded with free throws. But, man, it seems like he's been on the floor tonight, Pete, probably 4 or 5 times just off taking hard hits and then ended up on it.
Larson a chance to make it a 2-point game as he's able to, or rather a 1-point game, as he's able to shake off that injury. And he does, really good at the line, 64%. So Honor, Tyson, and Hall with 4 fouls each for Clemson. Jones is fouled out for Wofford. Klesmit and Bigelow have 4 apiece for the Terriers. Whistle away from the ball, and B.J. Mack picking up his 4th. And free throws upcoming with 1:08 to go in a 1-point game.
For this game to be as physical as it is, and I understand they're trying to clean it up, but at the same time, these are really big bodies. They're going to have to let them go a little bit. I thought B.J. Mack is just down there battling. You know, P.J. Hall's a load to handle down there, especially with B.J. Mack, who's a little bit undersized, but we will have a replay as P.J. gets ready to shoot his first, but State maintains contact. I mean, that's it. I mean, it's a foul. He's playing with his arms, not playing with his feet. He plays with his feet, he doesn't get called. He has to stay and get his butt down and stay in a stance, and he doesn't get called for something like that.
Hall building on a career night now. 21 points.
He's come back alive here in the second half, and a lot of it's Coach Brownell drawing up plays for him to duck in towards, I mean, the last 3 or 4 minutes, Pete. Brownell's really gone to his bell cow and P.J. Hall, and he knocks down both.
Tigers back up by 3, but again, a good 3-point shooting team, so little comfort in that. Terriers on the night, just 25% beyond the arc. And a big story coming into this game, and it's played out that way. Coming up on a minute to go in regulation. You see the foul trouble for Wofford, with Jones having already fouled out. Turner thought about it. Safford went for the tie. Tyson running it down for the Tigers. 48 seconds left. What do you do if you're Wofford? Probably just play out and try to...
You play it out. It's one possession game. Your defense has done nice things so far. You got to make sure you close out this possession. P.J. Hall's on the bench. Clemson's going to run the clock down all the way down. Make sure you communicate on ball screens and make sure you keep Nick Honor in front.
Shot clock coming up on 5. Honor crossing over. Knocked away by Turner. Taken by Dawes. Heaves it.
Huge! Huge! Alamir Dawes with the massive 3 on a broken play nonetheless. Clemson up 6. He blows the game open. 2 possessions, 19.8 to go. What a play by Dawes. It was almost great defensively by Keaton Turner. It was so close. It's
wow.
That kind of game.
What a just plain play. Wow on that.
We're going to see it. I thought it was a great defensive possession by Keaton Turner. He just isn't able to handle it. And what a ballsy shot by Alamir Dawes. A little step back. He's gone to that left-handed step back. I think that's his third one today. Great play by Dawes. We talk about it. Honor, Dawes. Those are the guys that are going to try to make things happen. They got a little lucky. Pete, they got a little lucky. But sometimes lucky's better than good, but that's a high-level 3-ball.
Got to take any break you can get.
Absolutely, absolutely. How about Alamir Dawes? Only 6 shots on the day, 2 of which have been stepped back to his left and knocking it over the top.
Unbelievable. Wow. So now if you're Clemson, you're just going to let it play out. Alamir Dawes, so big in the second half the other night. Kind of a spotty game this evening. Heard from him for a little while, then he went away, but here he is back and perhaps just delivering the dagger.
Well, he's picked his spots really well. I think that's another thing, too. Sometimes he can get going a little bit extra, but Alamir Dawes, I mean, just putting the game out of reach, like he's done so many times, like he did it last year against Florida State. I mean, he's the guy that he's so competitive that he just makes good things happen even when plays break down. You gotta love it. If you're a Clemson fan, you gotta love a guy like that with that level of competitiveness. And if you're Wofford, you're kicking yourself, but at the same time, what kind of shot?
Well, and what else are you going to do? What are you going to do?
You tip your cap and you get out. I mean, like, Wofford has played a great game.
13 now for Alamir. 3 of 5 beyond the arc. None bigger than the one he just hit. So 19.8 to go. Each team is the other in the double bonus, but no reason really for Clemson to foul, though Klesmith, they might get him with the offensive foul, and they will.
And that's tough. I thought Klesmith was getting downhill, and he was getting – we have a replay on what happened, but he tries to get there. Good job by Collins. Oh, that's close. That's close. This game has been so physical, though, for the entirety of the second half. Ever since the technical fouls, the double technical fouls that we had about the 17-minute mark, it has been really tightly called. I mean, we've had a ton of free throws.
That'll do it for Klesmith. That's his 5th.
And that's a tough break. I mean, you have 16 and a half seconds to go. It's a 2-possession game. Now Wofford obviously has to foul. And if you're Clemson, who do you get the ball to? Nick Honor's obviously going to knock some down. You don't want to give it to Collins because last season about 60%. You probably want to get it to Dawes. He's been your bell cow, but not if you're going to get it like that. Go ahead.
Run it out.
Call it a game. Go ahead and call it a game.
Going to look a lot different in the final score than how it played out, especially in the second half. They'll let Turner go. He won't get it to go. Safford, Turner, he'll fire late. Larson. And that's going to do it. Clemson Tigers will wipe the sweat off their brow, coming away with a 76-68 victory over the Wofford Terriers, but a game that went right down to the wire.
Hotly contested, basically for the full 40. Wofford came alive in the second half, played steady, played calm, played with intensity. Just comes up short, but nice job by Clemson and a massive shot by the Alamir Dawes.
Alamir 13 points, 21 a career high for P.J. Hall. The Tigers' David Collins put an exclamation point on it. He did not want to go to the line and made sure of that. As he throws it down, he ends up with 7 in the game. Tigers go to 2-0 with Bryant College out of Rhode Island. It's New England weekend here at Clemson. They're in on Monday night to take on the Tigers. Terriers are home Monday against the Erskine Flying Fleet. Heck of a ball game as it turns out, Tio.
Great game, a lot of physicality, a lot of toughness, and Clemson, this is going to be a win that comes back and helps you towards the end of the season against a very, very well-coached Wofford Terrier team.
53rd win all time for the Tigers against the Wofford Terriers. 76-68 our final score. For Terrence Oglesby and our fine crew here at Clemson, Pete Hannity saying so long. This has been a presentation of ESPN.